So, having noted on the last track day that the front passenger side wheel had been fouling the rear half of the inner arch, I decided to make some new inner arches. It's high density polythene, so I got this from Demon Tweaks, and this is what they suggest for wheel arch material, or sorry, inner arch material anyway. So yeah, I will be making some arches that sit, or sorry, some inner arches that will sit deeper in the arch, so it still keeps everything protected from stone chips, water ingress, etc, etc, but it won't clash with the wheels. That's easy now.
Stick your foot underneath it.
Yeah. And watch it come down on you.
Smash. Knuckles. Blood. Pain. What you need is a Ooga Dooga gun.
Yeah. Could do. Or a long bar. Pulled it out. So yeah, I'm just going to make something that it just blocks all this off but sits in nice and high so it doesn't rub in here or anything, because obviously that's where it catches on those bits. In fact, look, you can see that one's got holes in it where it's rubbed it. Might even trim that down. Then I might just flare.
All this money you're spending, you should have just bought a different set of wheels that would actually fit in the arches.
Should have just bought a ready prepared Clio Cup car or something, really, shouldn't I? At the minute you can see where I've rolled in the arches here and flared them out, but I stopped at this point here so it comes back out wide. I'm just going to roll a little bit more of that in, just probably to about there-ish, just to prevent any more issues there. And then when we look up here we can see where it's been rubbing there, it's worn a little hole, so I think I'm just gonna carry on trimming this just a bit out of the way, get a bit more of this inner arch out, because I'm not too worried about that in there. I want to protect in here, I don't want stuff getting inside there, but I'm not too worried about up here. After rolling that lower section, I went over the rest of the arch to ensure it was consistent, and then I painted the inside with anti-rust paint to keep it protected. Okay, so I think that's about good. So that area that was still poking out quite a lot there, we've rolled in. Down here is pretty straight anyway, so I'm not too worried. I don't think the wheel's going to get anywhere near that. Obviously we've cut away the inside here. It looks a bit neat at the minute, but I'll sand that down. But that just prevents, it just allows the wheel to go up there and push onto that if it needs to. Yeah, that all looks pretty good to me. Just reheated up my wrap there and sort of just pushed it down nice, so it should stay stuck quite well. So with that, it was now time to make a paper template and start designing the new inner arch. So there's my paper template. It's pretty rough really, but it should do the job. As long as I can get it close, I can always trim it up once it's actually in there. So rolled this stuff out. Yeah, it's really bendy stuff, so it's constantly trying to spring back on itself. But yeah, I will probably put some masking tape around this, draw around it, just so I've got the design permanently stuck on there, and then I'll cut it out. Don't know whether I'm gonna have to, whether I can possibly get away with doing it with something like this, or whether I'm gonna need a jigsaw or a little saw on it yet, but we'll see. Okay, so that's ready to cut out. I then used the heat gun to form it inside the arch, and then drilled the mounting holes. Got to be honest and say that was more of a pain than I thought it was going to be, but that is in now, so yeah, that perfectly covers up any grime and dirt and water ingress inside the arch there. It's obviously screwed in there, just put a rivet up behind there, screwed in on the original mount down there, and then it carries on inside up there into the original first inner arch, which obviously screw up in place there. I'd left the original front section of the inner arch, as I'd already modified this to have brake ventilation running through it, and with it being cut back, it wasn't going to foul the wheels anyway. However, I did change one of the mountings for a riv nut rather than reusing the plastic rivet. Just seemed a better option. So all that was left to do now was the other side, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Instead, why don't you join us next time when we'll be playing with this.
Oh!
You think they'd have blanked them up or something, wouldn't you? I would have thought so. Yeah, I'll do that in a minute. Ha-ha! Looks alright. Looks like good welds to me.
We'll get Mark to inspect those. What's this for, Darren?
To make the car run like without being at ridiculous temperature all the time. Right, let's blank them up.